Hello. This is not going to be your typical video for me. We're going to be answering questions like weight loss, healthy habit tips, gym shampoo routine, and other things. And I'll explain why this is a bit more of a different video than the ones you're used to from me. Just some stuff is going on. And I thought, let's dive into some questions you guys have been asking me. Put this on while you're going for a run, doing your chores, making dinner, or I will sit with you through lunch, whatever it is. And let's jump to it. Your tricks to make you consistent on your goals. I'm really proud of you. Oh, first of all, thank you. And I'm proud of you. And I think just consistency is make it a habit. It's so cliche, but once it's a habit, it's ingrained, it's almost harder to not do than to do once it becomes part of your routine. So anything I just want to be consistent with, I concentrate on how do I make it a habit forming idea? Just like brushing your teeth. You don't sit there all the time and be like, oh, I'm not consistent with brushing my teeth. You just kind of do it. So I find ways of doing that with my workouts, whether it just be starting out with going 4 times a week and saying I only have to go for 2 minutes until it's just my default to wake up in the morning, get to the gym, whatever, or just make it super easy. I just try to make everything really easy. Set out your gym clothes the night before, have my water bottle filled at night. So right when I wake up, it's there. So I drink it before coffee, just stuff like that. Make it easy and a habit. How is red light therapy going? It's not. I won't lie, red light therapy, I definitely see a lot of benefits. I see it. The problem is you have to be so consistent with it. And I just get out of the habit. It's sitting there. I'm like, I go take off my makeup. I don't feel like take off my makeup now. And then I take off my makeup, put on my skincare. So I need to get back to it. I definitely see benefits. Is it as drastic as doing some other things? No. But just realize it's not something you just do for 30 days and you're done. You just commit to that for life. Do you recommend any Lulu shoes for training in the gym and for running? Yes, a cool thing about Lulu, if you look on their shoes, they have 3 different types. They have one that's specifically, actually they have more, but they have one that's specifically just for running. They have one that's specifically just for weight training. And then they have a hybrid one, which is really designed for berries. Berries and Lulu have a collab. And so they designed it with that in mind, that you're going to be running, jumping on the floor, doing weights. And so if you look, they'll say it in it. But I think Charge Feel is the combo, Bliss Feels the running, and I forget the other, but that's just a really cool thing. And I do love Lululemon shoes because they were designed for women. This is not an ad, but many shoe brands are designed on the male foot, but this Lululemon started with women first, and they use 10,000 women or something to study it. So I personally love them. Sometimes they look a little bit like Sims shoes, I won't lie, but in terms of comfort, I think I have them on. Oh no, I thought I had them on right now. I don't. Your opinion on Whoop and Garmin and any other health tracker? I think they're amazing. I think it's a way to get either one, gamify fitness. I love it. 2, it's a way to take ownership of your own health. I think that's the benefit is the reality is we don't get to see the doctor every single week. It's the only thing we kind of really have accessible as just a layman person to assess our own health and then see trends over time. I think that's the biggest thing with these. You can't take them as 100% doctor advice. It's just more of seeing trends. For me, if I just know my HRV is just all going low and low and low. It's not, I'm okay, be mindful. How's my stress? How's my recovery? On the same time, if I notice my, heart rate is improving a lot, I'm oh, what have I been doing over the last little while? So it's just a bit more of that. For some people, it's accountability, but they are slippery slopes. For some people, that's anything, tracking calories, tracking finances, anything can become obsessive, but that's on the person to know. If you're an obsessive individual and you will be that person brushing your teeth at 9 p.m. at night trying to get your steps in, maybe reevaluate. And I've done a whole video on it if you want to see the my favorite ones. Personally, I am an Aura girly and an Apple girly. I'm wearing an Aura ring, an Apple Watch, and a Whoop right now because I'm going to wear them all for a full year. And I won't lie, I don't look at the Whoop. I think that says a lot. It's there, but I just don't really care in comparison to my Aura. My Aura is the one I check my health stats the most. And then the Apple Watch I use for more the Apple things and then tracking my runs. If you had a ton of weight to lose, what are the 3 tips that you would give me? Number 1 is understanding what weight loss is. Weight loss is a calorie deficit. If anyone says otherwise, they're lying. There is ways to, calorie counting isn't perfect. There's flaws in it, but it's the law of thermodynamics. So if anyone says calorie deficits don't result in weight loss, just tune them out. Because let's explain what it is. You burn your BMR. That's how many calories you burn a day just to function, just to have your heart beating, all this. You're going to have a set amount. And it doesn't vary that much between people. except for your weight and your height. The more you weigh, the more taller you are, the higher your BMR. So there's that. And then on top of that, something called TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. And that's all your movement. Me just wave my hand right there is burning calories. Me talking, burning calories. Your workout, technically, people sometimes batch your TDEE and your workout separately. But for this, we're just going to keep it simple. We're not going to talk about thermodynamics of food, anything. Just two things, think your BMR and your TDD. How much your body needs to survive and how much your body burns just moving around. And that's your total calories for a day. And if you eat how many calories you burn in the day, you will maintain. If you eat less, you will lose. If you eat more, you gain. And just kind of understand that. And in terms to lose weight, you kind of have three options. Or you really just have one option. It is to eat less than you burn in a day. You can get that through calorie counting. You can get that through intermittent fasting. You can get that through portion control. Like all those works. Like in terms of like Dr. Peter Attia, he gives the example like intermittent fasting works because it's just restricting how many hours you have to eat. So you can very well eat over or eat under. You can just count your calories so you're aware of how many, and then you can also just be aware of how much you eat every day and try to lessen it. That's just the basics. But now I'm going to give some more tips of like how to do that. Protein plus weights and enough nutrients. This is the key. You need to have enough protein and you need to lift weights while you're doing it, ideally, because you will gain/maintain muscle mass, because you hear about these people who lose weight, especially this is the biggest issue with Ozempic. People are losing all this weight, but they're not maintaining muscle. More muscle is more of that BMR we talked about will be higher when you have more muscle. And it is also other damaging things, but you just need to make sure you're getting enough protein and weight training. This will result in, you might gain some muscle actually in your weight loss, depending where you are, but you'll just maintain it. And then also you want to make sure you're getting enough nutrients. This is your fibers. This is your micronutrients, healthy fats, carbs, all these things, because one, eating whole foods is going to be more volume dense, which is kind of going to be my third point, but also, you're just getting enough nutrients, because one thing you just want to avoid in your weight loss journey is being both calorie deprived and nutritiously deprived, because you can also be overfed and nutritionally deprived. That you can just eat all white bread, and I eat a lot of white bread, but there's not much fiber, not much protein in it. You're lacking a lot of things. So what's going to your body do? Your body wants those. So you're going to get a lot of cravings. Let's just do a basic example. Say you decide to go no protein, no iron, and you get in deficit. You get to where you need to be. You start eating again. Your hunger starts ramping back up. You know what your body might start craving like crazy? Chocolate. Because chocolate also has iron, and sometimes we're out of it. We don't know exactly what we're craving. So you want to make sure you're eating a wide variety of nutrients, specifically because that is going to reduce cravings. But also, like, you don't just have to eat those things. You can eat anything you kind of want as long as you're in a calorie deficit, but it's going to be the most enjoyable for your energy and cravings during this, which brings me to a third tip is I think you should figure out what kind of person are you. Are you a taste person or a volume person? I think some people, when they go into calorie deficit and they eat less, one of the hardest things is just the physical amount of food they get to eat. They used to eat this big bowl and now they eat half this bowl. Like, that's really sad. On the flip side, some people hate that they just love the taste of food. They don't really care about portion sizes. It's just they just wanted a little bit of chocolate. And ideally, kind of you do a hybrid of the two. But if you're someone who's really a volume eater, plan out your nutrition in a way you still get to eat the same amount of foods, add more vegetables, add, just things like that. I'm not going to go on TikTok, just try volume eating. There'll be so many of those. And just like, how can you still maintain eating the same amount of food, ideally same amount of like proteins and micronutrients, but less calories. On the flip side, if you're someone who just doesn't care about the volume of food, but it's all about taste, just reduce the portion size of the food. So instead of having a whole chocolate bar, just reduce a couple pieces of it to put you in a calorie deficit. And you just really have to listen to yourself. Or you can kind of do a hybrid. Like, I'll give an example, ice cream. What you could do is you could make a Ninja Creamy. You can do a protein shake in it, and to get that volume big, those things are a ton. Or you could just have normal ice cream and have a little less of it, a little scoop. Or you could do something like just have regular ice cream, a little bit less portion, but add a bunch of berries because that's going to keep you fuller and you have the volume of it from the berries and the high fiber. So that would be my recommendation. And hopefully that gives you some help of the science about it and how to make it a bit more manageable. But just include your favorite foods, because the biggest mistake people make in any health or wellness is they do things they can't do long term. And some people are crazy about it, that they can do this completely wacky thing for 6 months, get to the place they want to be, and then flip their lifestyle to this like different lifestyle that's maintainable and maintained. No. It's way easier to just slowly have these healthy habits, slowly work out more, slowly lose the weight, truly change your taste palettes. Like go and that like you just have to think, okay, you get your goal. Do you want to live that life the rest of your life? Do you want to live a life that has no chocolate? No. So find a way you can get to your goal while still having chocolate, because then you'll get to your goal and you're like, oh, I still have chocolate in my day. So that would be my recommendation, is just think of yourself at the goal. Would you want to do this to get to your goal? What is your current workout split as a busy girly? Time of workouts too. I'm nosy. Now I got so many different ones about my workout split. So I thought I'd dive into it. I take a very intuitive approach with my workouts. This isn't the most science-based way, but this is a way I is realistically consistently doing it every week, and it pretty much checks all the boxes. But on Sunday night, I look at my week for a whole. Say I decide to do a workout class, I will schedule it in first, and then I kind of mindfully ask myself, was that a mobility session? Was that a weight training session? Was that a cardio session? Just, it won't be perfect, but in case I want to swap it. And then normally I'm in the gym true weight training 3 times a week. I typically do like a push, a pull, and a full body. I used to do like 2 lowers, 2 upper, but for me, I just want to get it done. I enjoy it, but I also am not in that place in my life where I want to spend 2 hours, 5 to 6 times a week weightlifting. Unlike in the time I did it, it's just more like what's kind of the least I can do with the most results. And I find that works. And then I just try to be kind of mindful of like, if I did all my push movements in a Barry's class or in a house concept class, I won't do that in the gym. So I'm kind of very intuitive in that sense. So I don't really have a strict one because I use a lot of boring compound movements: squats, barbell, hip thrusts, lunges, rows, dumbbell chest press, and mobility work. Like, it's really unsexy. So I kind of was like, okay, yeah, I've done squats twice this week. I'm good. Well, let's do deadlifts instead, pull motion. And I know that's not exact, but that's kind of, it's an intuitive approach. But just realized to get to that intuitive place, it took many years of following many programs until I'm kind of like, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to go do it. And I just try to make sure I'm always pushing myself. And in terms of running, in an ideal world, I'm doing 1 short run and 1 long run a week when I'm really on it. And then I try to do like 2 sessions of VO2 max training. I'm really liking that 4x4 Peter Tia talked about. I think it's called like the Norwegian circuit or Norwegian set. But it's pretty much you do like 4 minutes of like 80% heart rate, and then you do 4 minutes of resting and recovering, and you repeat that 4 times. And that's like a great way to work on your VO2 max. And so I just kind of trying to be mindful of that, is getting some VO2 max training in a week, and then also getting a bunch of zone 2 in, which I usually get from like my slower runs, and then I go on walks. And it's not perfect. Some weeks I'm just going on 1 run. Some weeks I just do a bunch of sprints. But when I'm like consistently on it, especially in the spring, summer, so I won't lie, in the winter, I definitely fall off my running. And just do a lot of more indoor sprints. It's definitely a short run, a long run, and some sprints. And then I'll throw in Pilates whenever I just feel like it. Do you worry about things like cadence when running? No, I just am not in a place in my life like I give a crap about getting faster, beating PRs or anything. I just want to run and enjoy my run and like really push myself and just like feel the music. You know, if I see someone running beside me, sometimes I run a little faster. But I just think of like slow runs and fast runs. You can definitely, it is way more optimal if you want to get faster. If your goal is to beat a 3-hour marathon, if you do have to do that. But for me, that's not where I am in my running journey. Like sometimes I'm like, let's see how far I can run. And that's kind of it. And I started getting a little crazy about things. It kind of took the whole joy out of running. And like, it's a weird place being someone who's like a running influencer a little. Like I'm kind of in that community. I feel like this pressure to suddenly like get these crazy times and all this. And I remind myself, and that's actually kind of a negative thing to put out there. And there's times in your life where you go and train thing and push really hard, but I'm not going to force it when that's not bringing me anything, because then that's forcing it on my audience to be like, the only way to run is if you're trying to run the ultimate fastest person qualify for the Boston Marathon. And there's times in your life to do that, but there's also times just like enjoying for runs. See if you can run a half marathon. See if you can run a marathon. See if you can run 2 kilometers. Go on a run with your friends. Like right now, my biggest thing is I just want like at any time, my friends are like, Keltie, I signed up for a 10K tomorrow. I'm like, sure, I'm in. And like occasionally, like I would like to get to that place with like a half marathon. And I think that's my biggest goal right now, is just to be in like a good running, injury-free, healthy, and enjoyment. That someone's like, Keltie, you want to run a half? I'm like, sure, why not? That's kind of where I want to be. Thoughts on accommodating your own mental health diagnosis, neurodivergence, without getting into a fixed mindset with someone of this with some of the struggles. Now, I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to give any advice that is actually helpful. I'm just going to say what worked for me, and maybe this will work for you. But for a lot of people, this will not be helpful. But just going to share ideas as a friend. I don't like to identify as my diagnosis. If you didn't know, I have at one point very severe OCD, and now it's very manageable, and I do have ADHD, clinically diagnosed by a therapist. And I just don't like to talk about it too much because I find like it's the least exciting thing about me. And I've learned that a lot of times is like, I find I live in it too much. When I identify it, it's kind of this reminder of like this burden on me. And I don't want it to be this burden. It's this thing I live with, and I've learned coping mechanisms to deal with it. And I've noticed like when my stress really bad, it gets heightened. And I just try to avoid saying it as much as possible, not to neglect the stigma, but it's like, yeah, it's a part of me. It's something I have to deal with. If someone asks me, if you guys ask me, I'm going to say I have it, but I just don't like to talk about it too much because then I'm living in it. It's like, it's the least exciting part about me that unfortunately I excessively count things and I pick my skin like crazy. But yeah, I just something to think about. Obviously I don't want to take it away from anyone who's like, there's empowerment in embracing it. I just noticed when I'm constantly talking about it, it just becomes more of a weight to deal with every day. And there's enough to deal with every day. On top of being neurodivergent, the world's crumbling. Just kidding. Do you track your food? No, I don't. I have in the past, especially when I was in like my bodybuilding era. I was in that like If It Fits Your Macros crowd, and like that I did it in the past because it really made me educational of like what's in food. But also there gets to be a point where you just look at food as numbers, and that's not a great place to be. So I think I'm in a good place in the sense that like I'm aware of portion sizes. I'm aware of fueling, so I don't underfuel. I'm aware of how to get enough protein and fiber. Like I know I eat enough protein and fiber every day, which is tough things to do. But I've just like, no, I have several handfuls of berries a day, and get my oats in and quinoa and things like that. And I don't need to anymore. But also, I'm not like so against it. If I think, for example, if there's something you're going through, or I just training really. If I were to bump up and train for like an ultra, I might start tracking because I'd be scared I was under fueling because your hunger is all over the place when you're doing things like that. So I might track again just to be mindful I'm getting in enough food. But that would be the only time I would consider it. But I haven't tracked in a long time, aside from, just if I were to go through something like that. You think your thinning hair were due to your implants. Did you do an block? So that's when you take out like the capsule and all that. I don't. It was 100% the extensions. I definitely lost hair early on in my days for mental health things, but that was like before I had implants or anything. And it was definitely the extensions. 100% because I was able to grow my hair. I still have my implants in, and then I did take them, but there was no growing my hair more faster or thicker or anything from having implants versus not. The only difference is like, it's been years since I got my implants out, so my hair has grown more. So that'd be the only thing. And then I didn't do en bloc. That was, watch my whole video on it if you're interested. It's a very controversial thing in the breast implant community, and I think it just really comes down to use. It's just some people think there's toxins in the capsule, so you have to take it out. But I never had health issues, and that's not why I took them out. It was just pure. They got so annoying. Do you train with contacts? I do. And I would want to ask you guys, would you like a video on eye health? I'm really into eye health lately because I have very dry eyes and my contacts are starting to annoy me, but I love contacts because I hate glasses. And would you like a video on contacts? Like just like eye health, like blue light blockers, morning sunlight, the whole thing, like some challenge there? Comment below if you want that because I'm just really interested in that right now. Lululemon or aloe yoga? Depends. I won't lie. Aloe is a vibe. It is the thing I have aloe on my head right now. I feel it's like, it's more athleisure for me. It's not high performance. The Airlift line is amazing for high performance. The rest, I'm going to be honest, not the best high performance quality out there. It is definitely chic. It's cute. They just know what to wear. They just like, it's like a Aritzia of like a athletic wear, even though Aritzia has athletic wear. Like it's just the vibe. Like it's so cool looking. Like it's fun to wear. But like if I'm getting really sweaty, I'm doing a tough workout, it doesn't hold up. Unlike Lulu. Lulu holds up, tried and true. I know I feel so bad recommending like $100 legging, but they're so worth the money. And it just will never not be a thing. So like I bought a pair of black Lululemon leggings. I had those too. They've lasted me forever. And every once in a while I buy a new pair because it's a color I love. And I'm like, oh, maybe has the quality gone down? No, they still hold up. And it's just, they're going to hold up to your hard, heavy workouts, your runs, your Pilates, your CrossFit sports. Like Lululemon is it for quality. And then they do have cute pieces as well. Like Lululemon is really dipping into like the casual wear, which has been phenomenal. When they first did it, I won't lie, I was kind of like, oh, you're not, they're nailing it. Oh my God, I can't get over it. I cannot get over it. It's the cardigan, that yellow cardigan I posted a little while ago I was wearing that was Lulu. Like, where did that come from? Depends if you're just a bit more of a want to be seen on the way to your workout, or do you want something that's going to be quality in your workout? And I do love both brands, but I think your money goes farther with Lulu. But then an aloe set is just so cute. What advice would you give someone navigating change, grief, and big transitions? That's the whole point of this video. The reason I'm just doing a Q&A is I'm going through grief right now too. And I don't have the answer for you. And I saw this and I just felt really bad because I was like, oh, I'm going through, not exactly, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm going through what you're going through in some way. I've, in a great way, this year is going to have a lot of big life changes. A lot of my life is going to be turned upside down positively, and some great additions are coming to the family. Not for me, I'm not pregnant, but and then just life is really big, and I'm kind of in this like pause before the big changes, so it's a weird thing to be in. And in terms of grief, I will talk about it in a video soon because it's unfortunately, I think, really aligned with my channel parts of it, and it would, I feel, could help a lot of people talking about it. But I lost someone very close to me 5 days ago. So that's why I don't want to talk about it too much right now, because I will start crying. All I can say is find joy in the day and go through it. And my brother said the best thing. And I don't know why it resonated so well, but he just said, like, it's weird. Because he seems fine, but he's doing great. But he was like, yeah, no, like, it's weird to be like, I'm not okay. I'm like, oh yeah, you can just like not be okay. I know that sounds funny, but like, yesterday I was really sad. I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay. Like, I don't have to be better right now while you're going through grief. Like, there's not this pressure to fix it. There's not this pressure of like, okay, but you just have to be, and it's okay to just be like, you're not okay. And so like, if you're feeling down one day, you're like, oh yeah, I'm not okay. And what ways can you like find joy in your life? And I don't know, that's really helping me right now. Because I was really down yesterday. I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, feel better, Keltie, feel better. I was like, you're not okay right now. It's okay. Just cry, just let it out. I sat on a bench yesterday and cried. Just because that felt like what I needed. I was like, cried. And then I saw my boyfriend. He made me laugh and things were great. And it's waves. So maybe that helped. But if not, I'm just going to give you a little hug. And I'm sorry you're going through it. And a reminder that you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are going through. Wow. You just see someone on the street and, they like do something weird. You're like, oh, that's weird. You're like, you don't know what that person just got a phone call about 5 minutes ago. As I'm quickly editing this, I realized I didn't mention yet the reason I'm just doing a Q&A is I just don't have it in me this week to film anything else. And I'm also just dealing with funeral plans and all that. So just know I'm okay. And just thank you for giving me the space to have just a really lowbrow, easy video. And I know I could have taken time off, but also some sense of normalcy is also kind of nice. So it was just something really easy. So that's also I would give as another premise if you're going through grief is like, try to have some normalcy, but also like don't push yourself too hard. And I'm not an expert. I'm like a week into dealing with the worst grief of my life. So I don't know, but we're in it together. What's the most difficult part about being a YouTuber content creator? And the best part, I think the hardest part is just like the algorithm of it. I saw a quote recently that like, no one burns out making art. They just burn out making content. And I think that's the biggest hurdle as someone like I love like content in the terms of like education, but I also love content and like video and music from the term like the artistic side. And it definitely always feels like there's just this endless, like every week you have to have something, and that's part of it. And like also I love the format I've made on YouTube, and it makes it really realistic to do it, and I have a really good system. But I just think it's that like constant feed into the algorithm. I think there'd be a lot more joy if there was no algorithm based to it. But you got to play the game. You can't be angry at the game. And I think the funnest part is like just the creativity. Like it is such a fun job. Like, yes, it's a lot of work, but also I'm not a brain surgeon. Like I get to come up with ideas. I get to research these ideas. I get to experiment with these ideas. I won't lie. I love talking to the camera. I love yapping, and I love editing. And my favorite part of a video is actually like the scoring of a video. So like that brings me the most joy, and like artistic angles. And I'm like, you know what? This video is about passion. So let's make the theme red. Like I love that part of it. So if I have a video that has like a pure like aesthetic to it and like music, you know, like my heart's in it. I'm like, oh, that was fun. Which some of you are rolling about, but that's the fun part. And working with cool brands, which actually brings me to today's sponsor. Yes, this video is sponsored, and I just want to talk about it really briefly because I know this is like a Q&A, so I thought it was a good time. I only work with a few brands, and there's a couple of reasons. The people I work with behind the scenes, like these brands, there's people working there, and I genuinely love them. I also don't want to promote a ton of things to you guys because part of one of the crappy parts about being a content creator is like, you got to take sponsorships. There's someone that has to pay for these videos. And so that's why I take sponsors. But I don't like the idea of having like 1,000 sponsors because like every week you come and you're like, oh, Keltie, it's like more pressure for you guys to sell. So if I just have a few, it's kind of like things I do every day. Like I know you associate me with Element. Why? Because I drink it every day. I talk about it all the time. And I love working with the brand. I love the product. It's so easy. It's in my water bottle right now. If I run out of it before they ship it to me, I buy it on my own. That's how much I genuinely enjoy the product. I send it to my best friend Amy for her birthday. I bring it, I just like hoard it off to my friends. They're annoyed by me. I'm like, just take this. I just like put it in their pockets. Anytime I have to give them something, in the pocket. Why? Because it's science-based ratio of 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I love it. It gets trusted by athletes. It helps with energy. If you have that funk in the middle of the day, it could be from electrolyte deficiency. Also, if you're a runner, if you're an athlete, it's just consider getting an electrolyte supplement. It's so important because you're sweating out electrolytes. It's going to help with your performance. And of course, my favorite electrolyte is Element. I'm not going to talk about it and not give you guys a code. If you go to drinkelement.com/Keltie, you'll get one of their sample packets with your purchase. It's a great way to try all 8 flavors or share with a salty friend. Once again, that's drinkelement.com/Keltie. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video. And yeah, I thought I should also just clarify, like, I know it feels weird in a video like this, it's still taking a sponsor, but like, I'm just thankful that my sponsors have been really understanding while I'm going through this time. And this video needed to have a sponsorship. At the end of the day, I have a contract. I signed a contract. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. One of the crappy parts about it, but it's they've been unbelievably understanding, all the sponsors I've worked with during this behind the scenes. So they get a plug. If you were a potato, what kind of potato would you be baked? I don't know why. That comes to my mind. I love them. Or russet. Did you ever have a sports injury, and how did you come back from it? Yeah, I blew out my knee. And that was in college basketball, and that's what ended my career. I definitely could have come back because I rehabbed it like crazy. I took months and rehabbed it, and my knee's in such a great place because of that. And then I just decided that was my crossroad, that I could go back and finish out, and I decided not and just concentrate on school and career after because I was not going to the WNBA, and I was kind of, just in a weird place after coming back from injury. So looking back, if I tell myself, I would just say, really work on rehabbing. If you're coming to injury, it will pay off so much. Just do all those stupid, tedious little things your physios or doctors say, and it will help you so much in the long term. But then in terms of mentally, work on other things. Like I would have like worked on my creativity back then, like learn about music, learn about video editing. Like when you're injured and don't have as much time spent working out, what other things can you put that like energy into? I don't know how to phrase this right, but one of the most complicated parts about working out nearly every day is, when do you shower? Do you shower after every workout? Do you wash your hair each time? I'm having trouble finding a good routine that doesn't overwash my hair while still being hygienic. Once again, I'm just going to say this from my own personal thing. On Sunday, like I'm scheduling out my workouts, I'm scheduling out my hair wash, and I just try to be mindful of it. I'm the sweatiest days, those days I'm doing those long runs, I'm doing workouts, I'm sweating, and that's hair wash day that night. I'm a nighttime shower, so I just hate the idea of going into bed with any grime from the day on. So I'm always showering before bed regardless. And then if I have a really sweaty workout, I will shower twice. It's not great for your skin, but I just make sure to get in a bunch of I have like a cream and a serum for my skin just because I don't want to strip it. I have naturally dry skin, but if I'm so sweaty, I don't want to go to work. But also I'm kind of like fine being a little grimy during the day. I know it's gross, but like I'm downtown, I'm running around like anyway. So I just make sure to like shower the second I get home. And then in terms of, washing hair, I just think of the sweatiest day, I wash my hair before bed. And then I do have like a silk pillowcase. And so I just try and keep my hair off my face if it's not hair wash day. And I did go to the gym, and I just make sure to wash that pillow probably like the day after if those things happen. So it's not exact, but my best thing is just like schedule it you just got to schedule it and be mindful. And then I only wash my hair like 3 times a week because those 3 workouts, like I just am not sweaty 6 days a week. So if you are, that's different. And then that's something you have to deal with. Idea, silk bonnet. A lot of people are doing that. Put the silk bonnet at night in your hair, so at least your hair is off your face. The dirty is not on your pillow. There's another option for just extend the hair wash. And then that's why I wear this day 3. I'm wearing a baseball hat. Besides YouTube, fitness, and DJing, what are some other things you're into that you don't normally show? I'm really into country music. I really love country music. I'm trying to learn to sing country music just for fun. Anything to do with water. I love being by water, the beach. If I had more access to be on a boat all the time, I'd be on that. Like just like a motorboat on the lake is just like my favorite thing. I don't know how to describe this, but like I love reading about like culture and design, whether it be other cultures' histories of design, interior design, fashion design. I just always am reading about those kind of things. Favorite Swedish food, drinks, and snacks. Swedish candy, number 1. It is the best. It is the best. It is TikTok viral for a reason. I don't want to say I was talking about it beforehand, but I definitely was. I have the YouTube videos to prove it. Cinnamon buns, but cardamom buns, also delicious. Just fika, all the cakes, but cinnamon bun. I'm just a cinnamon bun in every country. I love it all. Oh, and toast skagen. I love toast skagen. If you guys didn't know, it's like bread with some mayo and like a bunch of shrimp. Also delicious. Lastly, on that, airport fit haul, please. We'll do a whole haul, but I'm going to show this outfit because it is the best outfit I've ever worn. Like I've forever tried to nail look presentable. So I walk up and maybe someone's like, you should be upgraded to first class. Won't happen, but I like to like think in my mind. And I had a lady, anyway, sorry, my camera died. A lady came up to me and she was like, I don't know how you nailed it, but you look chic, but so unbelievably comfy. I was like, thank you. Because I put a lot of effort into this. And this was the formula. Lululemon Align Palazzo pant. The defined hooded jacket from Lulu. I had a Skims tank top, and then the Aritzia Labyrinth trench coat. It's this linen trench coat. You just cinch it. It's so comfy. It's like wearing a blanket. But I looked like I could go to a business meeting, but I also felt like I was in PJs. So I could sleep on the plane. I nailed it. I won't lie, I nailed it. This combo I will forever be wearing. I've been trying to nail it. And the fact that lady came up to me, she was chic. I was like, you're confident. I have to brag about this internet because no one saw this. I was like, guys, I did it. I nailed the combo. Didn't get upgraded, but a girl can dream. But thank you for listening to this. If you listened all the way to the end, maybe like leave what would be a fun emoji? Just a heart emoji. Just keep the love. We all need a little love right now. And yeah, I'll talk about what I'm going through, but it was fun. Just have a little catch up, a little Q&A. Hopefully you guys learned something, got some fun tips. And I hope you guys have a great day. Go pet a dog. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, lastly, I forgot this one question, and it was the one comment I said I would respond to. Thoughts on daily step goal / 10,000 steps. I have a whole video coming up about this, but in premise, I think it's great. I think especially if you have a sedentary job, it's just a way to add more movement into your day. The only problem is if you're like crazy about this, like 10,000 steps specifically, that's a whole marketing campaign. We'll talk about the specifics. There's something about 10,000 steps, but it's no magical thing. It's just mindful. If you're someone who's very sedentary, steps can be a great way to get extra movement in. If you're very active, you probably don't need to worry about your step count. Just realize it's like a fun gamified thing of fitness, and it's a good way to get movement, and it's a good thing for your mental health to go for a walk. But I think they're good as long as you're not live or die by it. Like you said, if you catch yourself 9 p.m. at night and you're trying to get extra steps in before you go to bed, unless you're doing a step challenge maybe with some friends.